Header up.
Rob and Chris, they're on the air. Yankees, Mets, they're everywhere. From the Bronx to Queens, the diamond gleams. MLB talk, the ultimate team. MLB is the place to be. Rob and Chris with the pitch you'll see. Swinging stats and stories fly. Baseball talk that's amplified.
And welcome to a new episode of NY MLB Talk with your host Rob and Chris, as we cover the Mets, Yankees, and all of Major League Baseball. And if you're on YouTube right now, hit that sub button. We'd really appreciate it. And also, if you want to follow us on TikTok, which, by the way, we just hit 4,000 subscribers, followers, on TikTok, and YouTube. We just hit 300 subscribers. So we're pretty proud of that. But if you want to follow us on TikTok, or on Twitter, it's at NYMLB Talk. Rob is at R Maraska. Myself at CP7NY. Rob, we got a great guest coming up. Why don't you introduce him and let's get going?
Yeah, we have definitely a special show today. And he's an amazing artist, Vernon Wells II. We're going to call him V. Yes, he is father of former Blue Jays, Angels, and Yankee outfielder Vernon Wells, but we have him here to talk about his amazing art. Thanks for coming on, V. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
You sent me some of your work, and in that corner is a QR code, right, Chris? That's to V's website, right?
Yes, V Wells website. If you hit that QR code, it brings up. It's got a great website. It shows off his portfolio as well. It's really awesome. Definitely check it out because his art is in another word, amazing. I don't know what's the right terminology to say, but Mr. Wells's portfolio is just one great photo after another, as you could see. I mean,
and they're just amazing artwork, works,
especially
of art.
The Yankee ones too. The Yankee ones come out so much better. But no, I'm kidding. They're all amazing, right? They're all amazing.
They definitely are. But before we get into that, V, you were and still are an amazing athlete yourself. I mean, you were a star wide receiver at TCU, and you also now and for a while, you're a great player in the Men's Senior Baseball League. You've won multiple championships. You want to talk about that real quick before we get into the artwork?
It's that. Let's put it this way. I always liked baseball, and after I made the mistake of not accepting TCU's offer to play baseball as well, when I got out, I said, I was living in Fort Worth, getting ready to graduate TCU. And so I put together a softball team. They had leagues all over the place for softball. And I said, it'd be cool if they had baseball. And they said, well, they do. And I said, what do you mean? He said, they have a senior league. And I said, where is it? He said, really close down the street. So I said, hold on. So I went to the office at the softball complex and said, my team is no longer in existence. I fold the team, forfeit everything he won. I don't need any money back. I'm going to go play baseball. And I've been doing it ever since. And the guy that I was talking to about that was none other than Billy Martin Jr. So he was I've been him started that first team, and he's I don't think he's still playing anymore, but that was a journey in itself.
And you've won a ton of championships, right?
Oh yeah, there's age groups from 18 and over to now 73 and over, and that's they have different rules as you get older, and you can't steal up there, and in the top division you can do everything. They have different skill levels within each age group, and it's hundreds of guys play every year. It's really something really cool.
Yeah, that sounds great. Chris, did you have something you wanted to ask V?
Yeah. Well, before we get into the art, what's your position in playing baseball?
There's only one position.
I guess the outfield, like your son,
Center
or
field. Center field.
center
Oh,
field. All
yeah,
right.
of course, center field.
That's the family business.
There you go.
And what a family business it is. You know, Vernon won 3 Gold Gloves, right?
Yep.
3 Gold Gloves in his career, which that's great. So, let's get into your artwork for a while. We have some pieces. Chris showed it. How did you get it? How did you get into it? You're commissioned by major league players, and I mean the list is just amazing. But how did you first get into this?
Well, it was a hobby at first, and then people started telling me that I could make money doing it. And it just so happens that it coincided with a time where I knew a guy that was pretty big in a baseball card market. And he liked my work so much that he pitched it to the company that was soon to be Upper Deck. And that's how I got the gig, because I sent them some samples and they said, well, yeah, let's try that. And so I was the first artist for the Upper Deck company in baseball and football that year. But it was mainly for me about baseball. And after they had cards out in the market, players, I was more interested in, getting with the players and doing stuff for them, not just because I know they had the money, but I know that they like that kind of stuff. And I thought I was in heaven from the very first time that they said, I walked in and they said, you're the Upper Deck artist. And I said, that's right. And then, I think 7 years later they folded it, but it was good while it lasted.
Yeah, it's just amazing. That is just amazing. And and major leaguers commission you, right? Who are some of the players that have commissioned you?
There's some guys that I forgot that I did, and I've been to so many of the guys' house in spring training and whatever, and there's, it was fun. If I was a collector of baseball paraphernalia, I could have got anything I wanted from those guys because I was that level. One guy wanted me to do a nude painting of his wife, and my wife said, "No, you're not." And so I didn't do that.
It's hard.
I would still have to say that was my most unfortunate accident, to tell her that I was bad.
But like Chris just said, it's art,
It's art. That's all it is.
Yeah. You don't know my wife.
No, I know. I can imagine.
That's great. So the upper deck stuff is just amazing, and I could see how that just led you. I mean, look at these paintings.
How did you get connected with the baseball cards? Did you connect? Did you contact them, or did they contact you?
No, he was the local guy, and he was running the show. They'd have card shows, and he had high up friends with Upper Deck, the group at that point. It became Upper Deck, and they said, "I think you should submit your work to them and see what you can come up with," because they were looking for somebody that wasn't already a big name, because the card company was just starting, and I guess we got started at the same time, because once that happened, and whenever I tried to get into a major league clubhouse in spring training, which was how I got most of my orders at the time, the players were so eager to get something done. I wasn't turned down by any team to visit during spring training, And that's what put me on the map right there. And that's how I got into it. And the rest is a matter of just doing it. And it wasn't just the demo on the field. I did a lot of family portraits, and it was the good old days.
Yeah, it just is amazing. Now, we'll get a little into your son. You were telling us before we came on that you were his first agent. You want to share that story with the audience?
Yeah. Well, I gotta say this first, because I say this to anybody that I have this conversation with. I had one goal when I found out. Okay, let me just put it this way. I didn't want anybody to coach my son as a, elementary school kid that could play. I didn't want somebody to get him and mess him up. So I said, you can play in this league, but I'm coaching. He said, okay, cool. And, so we go, it was a YMCA in Shreveport, Louisiana. And they had a nice little league there for his age guys. And it's a coach pitch league where the coach pitches to his own team, because at that age, they don't throw the ball well enough to, get through a game. So it's a coach pitch league. And first day of practice, we went in alphabetical order, and I had to pitch to my own kids, and we went alphabetically. Vernon's last because he's a W, and we had 3 kids before him that looked pretty good. They were bigger than him, and they hit the ball pretty good. And then all the parents were there because it was first day and all that kind of stuff. And he gets in the box, and I throw the first pitch, and I have thrown to him obviously quite a few times before that. Well, the first ball I threw there, he hit and one hopped the field in left field. We're talking about a 10-year-old. I'm like, okay. The next week we were moving to Dallas-Fort Worth, and I said, I'm gonna put this kid with some people who know what they're doing. I said, because I'm not going to get blamed for screwing him up down the road. I knew what I was doing, but I said, I can't be one of those dads that thinks that his kid can't do anything wrong. And he thanked me for it in a lot of ways, and I was on pins and needles, because I don't, whenever they came time to draft him. There was 6 general managers, and teams sent. Every team was represented that day at the field at his high school, which I was the PA announcer at the high school, for baseball. And so it was his high school baseball coach and a couple other guys and me. And when he was taking batting practice for all these MLB guys, I'm in outfield running balls down and stuff like that. And one of the guys that was in the stands with them, I had forgotten that he had ties to one of the teams. I couldn't remember what the team was, but they were asking Vernon's questions and stuff like that. And one of them says, "Can you hit?" And I said, "I beg your pardon?" He said, "Yeah, well, we saw you running the ball down out there. You must be able to hit some." And the guy that I was talking about was on my team locally at that time. And he said, "Oh, yeah, he can hit." And they said, "Let's see some of that." And I said, "Well, I got to have a signing bonus before we get that going." They said, "Well, we're not prepared to do that today." I said, "Believe me, I'm not either." So that day, they wanted to time Vernon in the 60-yard dash. It was just one of the things that they timed him for. And I said, "Well, can I run with him and have him catch me to, make his time better?" I said, "Yeah, we're just going to go in his first movement, not yours." So when the gun sounded, I took off, and he didn't catch me. And they all it was kind of quiet, and I said, "What's the deal?" He said, "Well, first of all, he ran faster than anybody we've timed in it. Second of all, we want to know how fast you were running." I said, I had a head start because 3 steps later I'm behind. And that's the way my track went when I was in high school. I always got beat at the finish line.
But still, that's just amazing. Now we asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you for the show. Did you have aspirations of becoming a Major League Baseball player yourself?
I did really, but my dad wasn't supportive of it, and he wanted me to stay with football, and I pretty much did do that, but I did regret it so many times. I couldn't believe it when I got to TCU first week of football, and the baseball field was just right next door to our facility, and I went to the field and leaned on the fence, and I was just watching them take BP, and the baseball coach, who I didn't know, and he said, "You look like you want to play baseball." And I said, "Well, I was thinking about it, Coach, to be honest with you." I said, "But I just got here. I don't know if Coach, Jim Schaffner, I don't know if you know that name, but he was the coach at TCU. He was a former 49ers coach. Anyway, he was our coach. And so I said, I'll ask him if he'll let me miss. I'd only be missing spring football, so I could have jumped up and said, yeah, I'm going to go play baseball. But I was very hesitant because I came in from a junior college. I went to junior college because I had a terrible senior year, and nobody recruited me anymore than anybody. But anyway, it got to the point to where I went back to the baseball field, and he said, Coach Schaffner says, you can play if you want to, but you might, get, you're starting flanker now, but if somebody steps up while you're out, you might have to win a job back in the fall. And I'm like, I can't afford to do that. And I just, that was the closest that I came to playing. And I asked him, I said, Coach, I didn't play high school baseball. He goes, I know. And I played in the men's league then in high school. And he said, well, why didn't you play on the high school team? Because you were the starting quarterback. Yeah. And what else? He said, shooting guard. I was basketball too. But when it came to baseball, there was a problem. He said, what are you talking about? I said, well, the same guys that were my teammates in high school, the other sports, previously in elementary school, when me and Joe Washington, you remember Joe Washington?
Yep.
Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
With Washington, right?
Yeah. Durio Harris, you know that name?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And Kenny Washington, Joe's little brother, and I walked across the highway with our birth certificates to go play in the Little League at the they were just now integrating in schools. Okay. So this was a lily white field in league, and we actually lived closer to the field itself than most of them did. So we go walking up there with our birth certificates, and they tell us, they asked us, what are you boys doing? And I said, well, we came to register for Little League. And he said, oh, so him and other fathers, white guys, which didn't bother me or us at all. It just bothered them.
Yeah.
And they said, well, where do you live exactly? And we told them it was in Lakeside Park, which was a subdivision across the highway from where they all lived, and he says, well, you're not eligible to play because you have to live on this side of the road. I said, oh, okay. So my dad was a coach back then. Durrell's dad was a coach. And we told him about it. They said, that's all BS right there. And I said, we said, oh, don't worry about it. So when it comes to the high school, I didn't say anything about baseball then. I was starting quarterback, shooting guard, whatever, and didn't play baseball for that particular reason because I didn't want to play for their dads. And then, so I was playing in the men's league my senior year in high school, and on Saturday morning, I was playing outfield, and all of a sudden, cars started coming up to park in the parking lot behind center field, and there was guys from my high school. They're playing a summer schedule, and one of them noticed me, and they said, "Vernon," and I turned around and waved at him, like that. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I wouldn't park there if I was you." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because I just hit a home run right there. Might get it next time too." He said, "Oh, boy, you don't play. How come you didn't play with us?" I said, "Ask your daddy."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
That's a true story. To this day, when I see one of them, they said, "Man, you should have played." I said, "Man, that's so water on the place." Yeah.
What a story.
Great.
Go ahead, Chris. You wanted to say something?
Yeah. No. When did it come to an end? The football line of your career. When did that? How did that end? Yeah, because you played in the CFL, right?
Well, let's see how can I put this. I was a free agent with the Kansas City Chiefs. I was the number 3 receiver in training camp.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, so I'm figuring, I wasn't drafted, so I didn't have bonus money, and we had a 3-day off period, and I didn't have any money to go home to see my wife, and so one of our defensive backs, I'll think of his name in a minute. He was all pro defensive back for the Chiefs, and he said, "Hey, man, you're going to be here for the whole season, so I'll get you a ticket to go home." And I said, "Cool," because I was for sure thinking I was already on the team. So we get back from our little trip, and the guys that left, and I at breakfast, one of the flunkies came to get me, said, "Coach wants to see you bring your playbook." You know what that means. It means you can cut.
Yep.
And everybody said, "Well, why are they calling you in there?" They'd be using me as a guinea pig for practice with how to do stuff right and stuff like that. And this coach, Paul Wiggin, I don't know if you know that name, but he was the coach. And he had the bright idea of he was going to run a full house backfield in the National Football League. We're talking about, might as well call it the wishbone offense. He was concerned about. His receivers had to be big, and they had to be able to block. And I said, well, I had to play along with it because that's where I was. I wasn't drafted. I had to be wherever I could get. And he says, well, we're going to have to let you go because we didn't like you blocking downfield and stuff like that. I said, I didn't realize that's what wide receivers were judging on, And
really?
I said, well, what about this other guy? And I swear to this day, I don't have a brother, but this guy and I look like the same blood. When we first saw each other the first day, we both like, oh shit, what is that? But I said, did you get me mixed up with him? And they said, no, he's gone too. And I said, oh man, and I was just in my mind just cussing it, because I had just been told by a player, a veteran player, who owed me money to go home for our little vacation for the weekend, and I come back and now I'm cut. And I said, this is unbelievable. And I stormed out. I said, get me on a flight back home as soon as you can. And because I threw everything in my bag, and got there, and the plane was pulling off. It had just pulled off, and I said, this was before 9/11, obviously, and they didn't have the strenuous, you couldn't do this. But I told them, I said, you need to get that plane back here. And I says, what do you mean, sir? I said, look, I just been cut by the Kansas fucking Chiefs, and bringing that plane back, we're gonna have a problem. I'll be damned if they didn't bring the plane back. I swear to God, they brought the plane back, and I got on there. So I go back to TCU, sign up to be a graduate assistant coach, and the new head coach there at TCU called me in his office and said, hey, we've got a call from the Chiefs. I said, oh, what'd I do now? They think I stole something or what? I said, no, it wasn't from people you knew, because they just fired their coach. I said, the coach that fired me 2 weeks ago just got fired today. I said, yep. And I said, well, they said they wanted me to know that they wanted me to come back next year. I said, look, last I checked, it's still preseason. I could go back now, And I said, well, never mind. I was done with it at that point. And that's how I know NFL is a crock. There's so many guys that shouldn't be where they are, and it's just crazy. And it was it's crazy. Yeah.
After hearing that, oh man,
yeah.
It's more of a who you know than who you are, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first time you saw a baseball card of your son, how does that feel?
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the time he had his first baseball card, I had done Upper Deck already, still with Upper Deck, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I still have all of them too, and he started collecting a little bit himself, and his whole thing is just like something out of a storybook. I mean, if you have a son that loves baseball like you do and can do it like he does, is a blessing. And I'm glad that I talked him out of football and would do everything exactly the same, because I didn't get in the way. And that's the thing that I'm most proud of in this life, is not screwing him up. But I have stories about some guys that were just the opposite. And,
now you told us before we came on that if one of your kids had a choice between football and baseball, you would tell them to definitely play baseball. Why don't you tell us about that real quick? What you said to us?
Think about it. Football, your first play can be your last. First play, one time. Just like the first preseason game in Calgary, I separated my shoulder. I was out for the season. First, and my wife was pregnant with Vernon at the time. And I separated my shoulder because I just caught 2 passes for first downs. We had first and goal, and in Canada, the end zones are 20 yards deep.
Yeah.
So the quarterback was trying to make the team. He was a kid that I really liked. He was Canadian, and he was usually most of the quarterbacks are American in the CFL, and he was trying to make it. He said, I need to throw a fade so they can have it on film. I said, oh man, we've been running down the end the whole time. I haven't been touched all night. And he said, please. And I said, all right. So he throws a lame duck, and I dive to try to make it look like a better pass than it really was, and landed on my shoulder. And it to this day, is not necessarily pain wise, but you can see where the bone has calcified and stuff like that. And it was, it's bad.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, V, I have to say, just looking at this photo, my dad uses this joke a lot when we're together and we meet somebody he's never met before. He'll say, "Oh yeah, this is my brother." Like because I do look like my dad. In this photo, I have to say, it looks like three brothers here. You look great for your age. You're amazing. You're in great shape, but you got a great family, a great looking family right here. Now your younger son, what he's obviously an athlete too. What did he go
well,
into?
You would think that, but he's really not. Well, he's not competitively anyway.
Okay.
And he's from another marriage.
Oh, okay.
Vernon's mother and I were married twice, and I'm on the third one now, which is done because we're not. She couldn't have kids, and I didn't need any more, and so that's stable for the rest of my life. Which at 71, you ain't got a big life left. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, the younger son, like I said, was from a different mother, and she refused because our marriage was, I won't say a mistake, but it served its purpose. And she kept him, and I went back to my previous wife and Vernon's mother. Anyway, she wouldn't let him play football. He's a great athlete. He's a great athlete. He did something me and Vernon third, my oldest son, was to win a ring in the father-son World Series in Arizona. And that was the first time he ever played in a baseball tournament. He played in the league, but he was more involved in other stuff. But he played well enough to help win a ring. And that's I'm trying to get them to go back this year where we can have 3 generations of father-son playing in the outfield. Because Vernon's younger son is a great athlete, and but he had some health issues that he's growing out of still at this point, and he's for lack of a better thing, he can hang up everything and just be a male model and be richer than Vernon was.
Wow.
Like that. So,
right.
Okay. All right. But yeah, that whole thing was weird. My whole fatherhood. And both my ex-wives and I, all friendly. We don't go out for coffee or anything like that, but
right.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, Vernon's major league debut. Tell me what you're feeling. His first game in the major leagues. He's finally playing. How do you feel as his father?
How do I put this? He had done so many things. All the different steps that all the kids that started in baseball as little leaguers and go up all the way. They want to hit the stepping stones. Whatever awards they have to give, you want to win it. Like that. And he did that. I mean, there was nothing. I walked around with a kind of smirk on my face, but really what I was doing, and I had my hand tapping myself on the shoulder, like, yeah, you didn't fuck that up. So that a boy, because he's been very responsible. I had, if he got in trouble for anything at this point, I would swear it was coerced by something else. But I know he can't be perfect because nobody is, but he comes close.
That's It's got to be a feeling. What a feeling that has to be. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. I know we talked about it a little bit, I think, before the show went on. How was it? You told us the reaction that you got from from when your son told you he was being traded to the Yankees.
Oh,
How did all that happen, and how was his time with the Yankees?
he liked it. He liked it a lot. But that day, it was just funny. I knew something. It's funny how I'm the last person, so my hair is standing on end. But I walked in that clubhouse that day in spring training, and you hear a pin drop, and it was never like that in there. When I walked in the door, everything got quiet. And then when Vernon came out with, he was packing his bags already, and he said, he came like he wanted me to hear, and he just whispered in my ear. He said, "I've been traded to the Yankees." And I said, "Hold that note." And I ran out the back door and did a little dance and yelling. It was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, that's for sure.
And how did it feel seeing him play at Yankee Stadium? I mean, you must have seen him play before when he was with the Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
But seeing him as a Yankee playing at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Really good.
Because Chris will tell you, Chris is the Yankee guy. It's just, especially the old Yankee Stadium, it really is a cathedral for baseball. I mean, as much as I hate to say that, being a Met guy, right, Chris? It's just,
there's just a lot of character, just like Fenway Park and Wrigley Field. Like there's so much history at these stadiums because they've been up forever. And who played there, right? Yankee Stadium. You had all the way going back to Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and there, and you're as a player, as a fan, you're looking down and saying, wow, all these great players played there. I can't imagine as a player like Vernon Wells playing in center field, you're wearing the pinstripes, and you're like, wow, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, all these other great guys were right here before me on this field. I can't imagine the feeling.
Yep, it was special.
Yeah,
it was special.
All right, now let's go back to your artwork again, because I'm really amazed with it. So say Ken Griffey Jr. Commissions you to do a painting of himself. What is the process? How long does it take? How walk us through the process of something like that?
First of all, I do everything from photographs. I don't have people pose there.
Okay.
Do that. And with Griffey, he didn't really know what he wanted exactly. He said, "What do you think about this?" Whatever. And then when the World Baseball Classic came about, he wanted me to definitely do something with that uniform. And I think I did. He was one of the first cards that I did for Upper Deck as well. And then the one of him and his dad and his son, that was a given. And it was, he was pretty cool. I went to his house in spring training, and in Florida at that time, and just hang out, and when he would come to town, and I was living in Arlington then too, and we'd go have lunch sometimes. He was good, but now he's got an answering service. He'll talk to you if he feels like it.
So how long does it take? Say the painting we're looking at now, which looks like a photograph. How long does it take you?
It usually depends on the size, of course. And that one was, I'm going to say 30 by 30. And it took about 10 days to 2 weeks. If I'm on, if that's the only thing I'm doing, I can do it, especially this one, because there isn't a whole lot of detail to be seen in the jerseys because they're white, and that's, not much to that. And it's pretty quick for that one.
Yeah, it's excellent. Why don't you tell us what you told us about some of the players' wives?
Oh, wow.
And complaint that they might have about the painting.
Yeah, that one that'll stick in my in my mind. I said, "Oh no, I would do it." I told the guy, I said, "My wife was never going to let me do that." And she says,
Oh yeah, no, I was talking about the one where you said that they said it looked too much like a
"Oh yeah, yeah." This was over the phone. I didn't even meet her, and they gave me the pictures. I mean, she said, "Yes, this is what we want," and I said, "Okay." The picture was good enough to paint, and I did it. And then when she looked at it, when I did it, she goes, "Well, it looks too much like the picture." I'm like, "Thank you, but what the hell are you talking about?"
What do you want me to make it into? Something that doesn't look like the picture? I don't.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, her husband didn't feel the same way at all, and I think he talked her off the ledge. But yeah.
That's great. Chris, could you bring up the other Santana, not the twin one, the Met one?
Yeah. Hold on, let me find it.
Okay, yeah. Well, we're talking because I mean all of them are just amazing artwork.
Any of the works kind of stick out to you, V, as any of them like extra special than the other?
There's been so many.
Yes.
It's hard to really say. It's funny you would ask that because I started to try to pick out a top 10 all time just for this day, talking to you guys. And I said, there's no way in hell.
I couldn't. I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be able to.
When you spend that much time on something, you kind of, if I didn't need the money, I wouldn't, some of them I would have just kept, and it's interesting. You had to let it go though.
Yeah, this one's great.
Yeah,
and that's great too.
Yeah, he got a great price for that too.
Yeah,
you get the
family discount, right?
Yeah.
So V, growing up, what was your favorite Major League Baseball team growing up?
There was I meant to fit that in some kind of way. Okay, back then, I was born in 1955, so by the time I was in elementary school, there was baseball on TV, but not much of it. And when it was on there, it was usually the Yankees. So I was always a Yankees fan. And then the Giants with Willie Mays. Then lo and behold, when I get into this art thing and spring training one year in Arizona, I got to meet Willie. And then, it was like, he was still moving around and stuff. He was old at that point, but the guy that introduced me to him in the clubhouse, and we're talking, and he said, "Yeah, that Vernon Wells." He said, "Yeah, he nice." That's what he said. This is because he nice. Because he likes to critique other center fielders.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. He was always my favorite player because he was a man.
He was. I love Willie Mays. He was great. How about Hank Aaron?
Yeah, he was not at. Hank was great. I met him. I talked to him a few times. He wasn't as talkative by nature. It had nothing to do with me. It was just he was a more quiet guy like that. And he was, to me, he had the most effortless swing for the ball to go over the fence. I didn't understand that. It didn't look like he was swinging hard at all.
Yeah,
it's gone. I'm like, wow. That's the beauty of baseball. There's more than one way to do it.
Oh yeah.
It definitely
some
is.
of them make it look too easy, like Hank Aaron, like Ken Griffey Jr. That was another one. That guy looked like he was just swinging.
He was a freak.
Oh, just unreal.
He was a freak, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever get to meet Bob Gibson?
Oh no, did I?
Okay.
Oh, did I?
There you go.
Yep. Let's see. Okay, Upper Deck was um, they were doing a old timers game at the old ballpark in Arlington.
Okay.
Okay, he was one of the pitchers, and he said, "Okay, we've had this conversation a few times, so when y'all go up there, you better be swinging the bat." He said, "I've hit a lot of players in my time, a lot of hitters in my time, but none of them was by accident." Well, okay, I'm mixing them up. This was at a different fantasy camp, and he called up right before he was getting ready. We were playing against all the ex-pros that were at the fantasy camp. They're getting paid to do their thing, and
Yeah.
all these other people, all of us were out there. And he said, "Look, I'm getting older. I'm gonna throw the ball up there. I'm throwing strikes. Don't stand up there taking pitches." And these guys, see, I knew him because I had talked to him several times about work and stuff. And he looked at me and kind of winked his eye because he knew he was joking, right? And
Yeah.
these guys were like, "Man, and they swung at everything. I don't think anybody took a pitch the whole game. In that was greatness. But when I was playing center field, when it was our turn in the field, and he came up to bat, and he smoked the ball to right center, and I'm like, "Holy crap! I don't remember him getting a hit in baseball and on TV or anything because I never looked for him. But he was something else. Yeah."
Yeah. One of our viewers wants to know, how about Willie McCovey?
Oh, I haven't met him. Never met him.
Oh, okay. You never met Willie McCovey. Okay, cool. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, how about this one? I just seen this one. I got to ask you about this. Whoops. I have to ask you about this painting because it's a trio of paintings of the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, okay.
Tell us the little story behind this one, I guess.
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank on the name.
Well, you got Andrew Jones, I would think, is the
Andrew Jones,
right, the center fielder, the
okay,
catcher.
Andrew commissioned me to do. I think these were the 3 All-Star picks. Oh no, the Gold Glovers.
Gold Glovers, yeah.
Yeah.
Gold
Yeah.
up the middle. So it's
He
Andrew Jones.
he commissioned me to do all 3 of those, and he didn't tell the other 2 guys until it was done. So he's the kind of guy you really would love to have all the time, you know. And I did those 3 paintings just because he wanted to give the ones to the other 2 guys.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
that is
pretty amazing. Who were the catcher is Rob, you got to I'm coming up with a blank. I remember the guy. I know it's Andrew Jones. The catcher is I hate to look it up, but
I can't see it that well, so you can.
yeah, it's during that era. I know exactly who they are.
Well, you look that up. I'm going to ask him. We have a viewer wanted to know if V met Frank Robinson.
Frank Robinson?
Yeah.
No history with him.
Okay. No.
I met him, but didn't have conversation with him, I don't guess.
So you said when you were growing up, you were a Yankee fan, and that makes a lot of sense because back then with television, it was just local. Basically, you had the game of the week, and you had the All-Star Game, playoffs, World Series. Who would you say was your favorite Yankee player?
Mickey Mantle.
Yeah, Mickey Mantle. Chris, is Mickey Mantle yours too?
Well, not obviously I never seen Mickey Mantle, but growing up it was, my mom's, so I always connect myself with Mickey as well. But mine's more like Don Mattingly, after that. But definitely, yeah, Mickey is everybody around probably your age that liked baseball was probably a Mickey Mantle fan, right? Especially, obviously if you're a Yankee fan, you're definitely a Mickey Mantle fan for sure. That's without a doubt the most popular answer. I mean, Mickey Mantle owns New York and baseball back during his era, right? So Makes
Now,
sense.
Chris, we have a couple minutes left, but before we get to that one question that you always ask our guests, why don't you bring up a couple more of the paintings? I mean, they're just so good. I want to get them up. Well, we still have a little time. Of course,
hold on, let me
it's just that, and once again, that QR code to our viewers, that goes right to V's website. So if you want to check his work out, and there's a lot of stuff on there. I mean, I'm just amazed at everything he's done.
How about this one, V? This one stuck out to me too. Love this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I did that for the Negro League Museum. They invited me to come and be a part of their grand opening when it first opened, and that's what that one's all about.
Yeah, I love that.
How did you come up with the idea of that picture? Was that's just your own, your own idea, or did you take it from a photo, and did you paint it from a photo?
No, it was just a regular black and white photo of the two guys, and then I put in the background whatever I want to put.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. That one's great.
And it's great because you could see the colors of the jerseys, because all the footage of of them playing is black and white, obviously, and grainy. But to see it in a painting, you see the colors come out, right? Yeah. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah, that and that's one museum that I definitely have to get out to.
Yeah, that was really nice. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and look at this other stuff. It's just amazing. That one, of course. That's great. That is great. Why don't you tell us about the Mariano?
Well, he wanted something. He was another one of the ones that didn't necessarily know what he wanted to do, and he just come across the milestone at 500, whatever. And I said, "Well, I'll show you a layout. It might look good." And he loved it. He said, "Yeah, let's go with that." So,
yeah,
that photo, that one in the top right-hand corner of Mariano. I've seen that one, and whenever I look at that photo, if I wanted to show someone what that era meant, or what symbolized that era the most, right? The late 90s, early 2000s, the 5 World Series. It was Mariano jogging in from the bullpen, because everybody knew when that guy was coming in, the game was done, right? And I've never seen someone before that or after that have that kind of. I've never had that kind of confidence in a player ever. Yeah. That
let me ask you this: do you know how many people have hit walk-off homers against him?
Walk-off? Oh wow. Well, I know in the playoffs it was Sandy Alomar. In the regular season, you know what? I remember Ichiro doing it right in Seattle. I think he hit one off him. Other than that, I don't know. Unless it's Vernon, maybe Vernon got one off him.
I knew it was Vernon.
I was thinking it had to be him. I don't remember his as much, but I do remember for whatever reason those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew he was going to say Vernon. I knew that.
Yeah, What's funny is when the Yankees came to Arlington, when Vernon was still in high school, his agent set up a little luncheon. Him and it was like 4 or 5 of these guys, and they were all there. When he got to be in the majors, they knew him. So when he hit the home run, he didn't. He wasn't one of the kinds that he didn't have any dance or bat flips or anything like that. But he didn't want to look up at him because he knew that Mariano was supposed to be his boy. And I said, well, yeah, Ben Franklin is more friendly.
I could imagine.
That's great. All right, this hour just flew by. Chris, you want to ask V that question we ask everybody before I do our quick preview?
Definitely. All right, V. We always ask this last question before we go. Since you've got tons of experience in the game, playing it, son had this great career in the game as well, and also as a fan for many years. If you were named MLB commissioner today, what changes would you make to the game?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, let me ask you first. Do you still watch the game now? Like you're an avid baseball? Oh, you are? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good question then for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. I don't, you know what? After being on the inside of it, like actually being in clubhouses and stuff like that, you know, they have a tough job what they're doing, you know, because some guys will do stuff. You talk about cheating and, you know, all this undercover stuff, you know, stealing signs and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know what I would change if I could.
Yeah. Do you like the ghost runner? Everybody brings up the ghost runner.
Yeah.
In extra innings. You would get rid of that, right? Or no?
I don't know. It's not a big deal. I mean, if you want to go with 2 strikes instead of 3, I would have a problem with that.
No.
Yeah, definitely. But all right, listen, V, it's been great. I was looking forward to this, getting to know you the past week. Your paintings and you sending me everything, and I appreciate that. We both appreciate it. Is there anything you want to plug or say before we end this?
You know, feel free to contact me anytime, just to chit chat if you want.
Oh, I definitely will.
Okay.
And like I said, thank you very much. Chris, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, thank you a million times for coming and sharing all these great stories with us. We really appreciate it.
There's more.
Oh, hey, if you want to come on again, you know, you're more than welcome. And bring your son next time. We'll have even more stories. That would be great. But listen, you have an open invitation whenever you want to come on. Right. If you got a new show to talk about, you know, your paintings, if anything, come on, give us a call, and you're more than welcome to come on.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody go to that QR code to see V's website, see more. You know, you only got a glimpse of everything he did today. I mean, there's just so much.
That's such a fraction too.
Yeah, it's a fraction. Do yourselves a favor, go to his website. Real quick before we go, I just have to go our schedule real fast. Wednesday's a busy day. That's actually tomorrow, Chris. Wednesday's a busy day for the show. Chris is going to be on the Pesky podcast at, I think, 7 p.m. tomorrow night. After that, we have the Wednesday night Clearing the Bases game show. So me and Chris will both be there. And then after that, at 10 p.m., we're going to be on the South Florida Tribune Network show. So tomorrow is going to be a busy day for us. And then Friday at 10 p.m., you may only have me and Chris. I'm going to find out about a guest. But anyway, once again, thanks, V. We appreciate it. And we will see everybody at some point tomorrow. Thanks.
Thanks, you guys.